Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Anna Galasinski. I am a writer and an entrepreneur, and I just wanted to use this channel to let you come along through my journey. So I have been interested in writing since I was about 12. I like to say that what inspired me to start writing is that I have a younger brother. He's 1 year and 1 week exactly younger than me, and he liked to write stories. He was a lot more academically inclined than I was when I was little, and he would write stories and journal and do all sorts of stuff like that. And I'm a very competitive person, so I had to try it. So I started writing stories to kind of compete with him. Not exactly, just, okay, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. It was actually really funny because we would have one laptop that we were allowed to share, and at one point, my mom literally had to just say, you guys are not allowed to keep writing because you guys are fighting over the computer and you're always on the computer because you're always writing, which is honestly not a bad problem, but it was a problem. So we ended up getting assigned days, and then we were able to write in the afternoons after we had finished our school. And that kind of sparked my creativity with writing. So ever since I was 12, I have been writing pretty seriously. I've completed over a dozen novels in that time, and I'm always coming up with new ideas. But I'm one of those type of persons that I have to finish a book. It's that with reading and it's that with writing. I have to finish the book. So I think I can recall only like one book that I have quit midway through. And I can remember the exact minute that I stopped writing it, which is honestly kind of funny because usually it feels like not writing a book kind of just trickles off and you forget about it. But this was more of a deliberate, I'm done with this book. I don't like it. It's getting nowhere. It was kind of getting boring. Let's just say it like that. It was getting boring. Back in that time, I was pantsing the whole thing. So there was no outline. I had no idea where it was going. And yeah, it was just getting a little bit boring. And I had a new idea that I wanted to try. So I went with that. So all throughout high school, I was writing. Mondays and Wednesdays were my writing afternoons, and I loved them. They were like my favorite afternoons of all times, where I would just get to sit down on the computer from like 1 to 6, put headphones on, listen to music, and write my stories. And it was just such a special time where I was delving into my creativity and just writing and having fun and doing what I enjoyed. But that was for high school. And after high school, you kind of have to start deciding what you want to do with your life. And that can be really challenging. I love baking and cake decorating. If you have seen my entrepreneurial side, you know that I run a business called I Caked It, where I teach the fundamentals of cake decorating, and I do local workshops, and then I have an online course. So I was actually considering going to culinary school and becoming a pastry chef. And that was incredible. I thought that was the most amazing idea ever, and I loved it. But I also didn't really want to go that far from home, and I couldn't find many good culinary schools near. So I started researching and I started thinking, and one day an email showed up in my inbox. It was this survey to see if I qualified for this writing program. And I was still writing really seriously at the time. I think I was in the midst of a trilogy, and I just opened the email and I was like, okay, I love taking surveys. It's just a weird thing about me. So I was like, why not? I think my parents were on a date, and I was just with my little sister, and we were just laying on my parents' bedroom floor on the carpet, and I had the laptop in front of me, and I just opened it up and opened the survey, and I'm like, why not? Why not just take the survey? It was actually an application, which I learned later, and I was like, okay, so culinary stuff probably isn't gonna work because I can't find a school near me that seems decent. So what about writing? So I took this very casually. I didn't actually think much about it. It was more just a fun idea because, I don't know, I think it had a deadline. And I am the type of person that if you tell me I only have like 1 day left to do it, I will do it. So I took the little application survey thing. So afterwards, I kind of just forgot about it. I just moved on with my life. I didn't really think much of it. So it was sometime in the spring of 2021, and I got this email back from their administration team, and they said, you would be a perfect fit for our program. Can we schedule a call with you? And this was the moment when I was like, okay, maybe this kind of is serious. Now I need to talk to my parents about this because I was kind of like, it's just a survey. Nothing's probably going to happen of it. I probably don't qualify. I don't need to talk to anybody about it. So now I actually needed to talk to my parents about it because I was going to be on a live call with one of their people from their administration team. And so I did talk to my parents about it, and I talked them through the whole writing side of it and all of the benefits of it. And honestly, at this point, I didn't really know a ton because I hadn't gone into it with this grand vision of joining this conservatory. For me, it was just a survey. And that was about it. There was credibility behind the program because I knew of the author who was running it, Brett Harris and Kara Swanson. So I knew who they were, but I didn't actually know much about the program. So we scheduled the call, and we were actually sitting in this room, me and my mom and my dad, and we talked to this lady about the program, the writing side of the program, the business side of the program, because they have a whole business track, because actually being an author means that you have to learn how to market your books. And they wanted to tackle the marketing side of it as well. So we talked about it for quite a while. My parents got to ask all of their questions, and I was just jumping up and down inside. I was just so thrilled. This seemed like the most amazing opportunity ever. I get to pursue what I loved. I loved writing, and I loved marketing and the entrepreneurial side. And I was like, these two worlds can combine, and it's gonna be awesome. So I was completely sold. I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. So afterwards, my parents and I went out, and we just took a long walk, and I think I was just jumping up and down and laughing. When I get really excited, I just laugh, and I kind of squeal a little bit. Me, of all people, I got to join this writing conservatory that was for serious writers to actually bring them through the publishing industry and help them. And it just seemed like all my dreams come true. For me, what really drove me into the writing side was just the idea of not writing. Like, I had taken a couple breaks in the past, and whenever I got to come back and actually write, it was just the most amazing thing ever. So the idea of not writing kind of scared me because, you know, as you move on with life and you join college or you get married or you get a serious job, writing usually goes to the back burner. You don't have the time to focus on it anymore. And that made me sad because I love writing and it's just a passion of mine. And so to get to join this program that wanted me to write and wanted to help me with my writing and wanted to show me how to get published and show me all the behind the scenes of that, it was amazing. So fast forward a little bit of time, we emailed back and forth with the coordinators, and we got a date on the calendar for my start date. So in the last week of October, I started the Author Conservatory. So during my first year of the Author Conservatory, I plotted and drafted 2 novels. So we went through concepts to synopsises to outlines, and then I actually got to draft them. And let me just say, having all of that right from the beginning was a game changer. I had always pantsed. I usually had a slight outline of just generally what I wanted to happen, but I never knew the end of my stories until I was actually at the end. And therefore, I had a lot of stories just run on because I didn't want to come up with an end. And I was lazy. I just kept going. And so I'd have stories go on and on and on and on, and they were just getting really boring. So yeah, my stories would have very long, lengthy, boring middles. Trust me, they were really boring. And there were some really strange things that happened because I was making things up on the spot. So getting to go through an outline and learn how to write actual professional synopsises and getting to do all of that really, really helped my stories. They're not long and boring anymore. They're actually really succinct, and the stakes are high. The characters actually have arcs, so they learn something and they grow throughout the stories. Instead of just being stagnant, this character is just doing this thing again and again and again just because I don't know what else to write about. So I found that was incredibly helpful for me as a writer. So then at the end of October was the renewal of my subscription, so I was going to do my second year, except that, you know, November and December can be kind of crazy months just with all of the holidays. And during this time, my brother wanted me to write a short film script for him. So I took a 2-month break. But then come January, I started my second year of the Author Conservatory. We're focusing a lot more on the craft side of writing, which I felt like I really needed a lot of help with. I have been editing a book, so I realized just how bad it actually is, which sounds horrible. It's not actually that bad. But I'm probably my worst critic, so it is bad to me. So I've been diving into that and realizing just like, hey, I think this is deep third. I want it to be deep third, but it is not actually coming across as deep third. So I've had to realize what my problems are, and I think editing actually really helps you learn what your problems are, because then you can see where they are and then you learn how to fix them, so that then next time you're actually drafting, you can see exactly what your problems were and you know what to do instead, so that you don't have these problems again when you're actually editing later on. So I am really excited to see my books actually take off and just become so much better than what they were honestly only like a year and a half ago. I can really say that my books have stepped up a notch in the last year and a half, and that is all thanks to the Author Conservatory. So in this channel, I wanted to take you through my writing journey and just bring you along through this journey to publication. My goal would be to get traditionally published, but as I've begun to learn, that is a very slow process. Contracts are signed years before a book actually goes to print, which makes you realize just how long of a process it actually is. So if you are a writer like me, or you're just interested in the publishing journey and you just want to follow along, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am super excited to keep filming these videos, and I really want to share my writing to publishing journey with you. So some of those videos, I'm gonna guess a lot of them are actually gonna be me talking and sharing what's going on in my life, sharing what projects I'm up to. Obviously, I can't always give a ton of detail just because of, if I do want to get published in the future, there are things like title reveals, cover reveals, actual book plot reveals, and I don't really want to spoil them right now, so I can't always give a ton of details, but I will share what I can, and I want to share what I'm learning. And so some of that might be, I hope in the future, I would be able to bring on some authors and get to chat with them about writing and life and how they got into publishing and just stuff about their stories, because I find that they have a lot of wisdom to share and you just have to ask the right questions. So hopefully that would be something that would happen in the future. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess a lot of my videos are just gonna be me chatting and sharing writing updates and what's going on in my life. And maybe once in a while we'll sprinkle in some vlog styles. I love filming those, so we'll see. But I have to actually do something interesting if we're going to do that, because you do not want to just watch me write for 6 hours, because it's really boring. Seriously, it's kind of boring. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in and for watching my first YouTube video. So if you enjoyed this video, please smash the like button and subscribe. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Smash the like button. Ugh, I can't talk. Okay. Please smash the like button. I can't say like button.